even though I'm quiet and sometimes I seem not unapproachable, I really want to connect with people and make friends. It's just that my anxiety doesn't allow me to. We, special needs youth, exist, and we have just as much of a right to be included and the right to take up space as non-special needs youth, or just as much as of a right to exist as you. The message I want to give to youth workers and the decision makers in Europe is that we, special needs young people, exist. There's a lot of us, and we need inclusivity and accessibility. And my message is, and what I ask of you is that you consider us and involve us in the decisions you make about us. And the thing is that for decision makers in Europe, they should think about us more, and they should make more decisions about us, because I often feel like we are forgotten. I think a truly accessible European youth program would have all sorts of people with different abilities. So maybe it would have maybe different people, and it would be very diverse. So it would show that the event is accessible, that there are a lot of people, a lot of different kind of people, a lot of people with different abilities are present. If young people like me had more power, what I would change in youth work is that I would definitely organize workshops and presentations for people not affected by special needs, because I feel like they are not the young people not affected by special needs are not very tolerant nowadays, especially towards people like me who have invisible disabilities. And because of that, I think if we made them more aware, more empathetic towards people like us, that would be a huge step forward. I definitely think that accessibility should be a basic youth worker knowledge in Europe, because the youth workers work with young people, and there are young people who need these accessibility changes to participate. So it's only inclusive if the youth workers know these accessibility needs, and they make it accessible. That accessibility and information about the conditions, the more common conditions such as autism, depression, ADHD, etc., should be all the part of the training for youth workers. So if I could change one rule for youth workers training in Europe, it would be that similar to a doctor treating every patient, regardless of if the patient is black, white, gay, or disabled. I think that should also apply to youth workers, that if a young person has a disability, for example, they should not be able to say, oh, I don't want to deal with it, I just want to deal with the uh, uh, non-special needs youth. So I think that they should make it very clear that if you are a youth worker, you should be inclusive and make it your programs and events accessible. I think the difference between being present and truly participating is the effect the event has on you. So I think that these events, the organizers have something in mind that they want the participants to experience, And if you are truly participating, you get to experience that and the intentions actually happen. But if you are not truly participating, you might miss out on that. What helps me participate meaningfully in group activities is the ability to take a break, and also that the group is understanding and not judgmental. This is my personal opinion, my personal experience is that autistic young people, even if a lot of them might seem unapproachable, still want to connect with people. So I think, but that might be wrong. So that's just my experience. But I think that's something that maybe youth workers should think about, whether on a case-by-case basis. I think youth workers can support autistic young people without taking control from them by asking for their opinion and giving them choices. In order to share my opinion honestly, I need people to listen and not judge. I think youth workers should know that emotional safety and accessibility is very important, and that emotional safety makes a huge difference, because if someone doesn't feel safe emotionally in an activity, they might not come back. Organizations should research accessibility and ask people who are affected, and maybe even people who are about to participate, about what accessibility needs they have before organizing an event. Being listened to and not judged makes me feel emotionally safe. And in addition to that, being able to talk to someone. So I don't mean talk about the problems, but just have a conversation about the weather, about my weekend. So being able to chat with someone. When people make mean comments, and I don't mean disagreeing, but disagreeing in a mean way, or making personal insults towards me, makes me feel judged and unsafe, and people laughing at me also makes me feel judged and unsafe. In everyday life, inclusion means to me that I am welcome and that I can participate just like other people. For example, if there's an event that I want to go to, I'm allowed to go there, and preferably it's accessible and not, for example, like not and it's not difficult for me to feel comfortable there. I think that initially, if there are a lot of people, that makes it difficult, but over time, that's easier to get to adapt to. But what also can make it difficult if the people are mean or unwelcoming and they are not understanding of my autism. Things like huge crowds, loud noises, and clicks make participation difficult for me. Maybe by huge crowd, I mean like maybe over 20 people. Maybe having similar people with similar problems there, and having older people there as well. So not just young people, but older people, because I think I have a hard time connecting with people my age and people who are willing to have a conversation with me, even if it's just about the weather, that help my anxiety. During a youth activity, I think that breaks, a quiet room for people who might be experiencing sensory overload, and a clear timetable should be available in a written form. Youth workers can help me by recognizing if I feel by recognizing if the group dynamic is off. For example, there's bullying, or if I report bullying, that they take it seriously and that they help me, or simply just by talking to me and having a conversation, maybe just about the weather, can help relieve my anxiety. One accessibility change that makes a big difference for me is is making is clear information on what is going to happen, what is about to happen, and short notice if that plan is changing. Yes, it should be before something starts and during it. So for example, at Salvavita, when there's a youth program, there's a piece of paper on the door that says what's about to happen, and that's very helpful because not only if I don't remember exactly what I read, I can just check back on it again. I think one very simple change that a youth worker can do tomorrow, so a very easy change, is a clear written timetable for the event. And I think that would make it more accessible for people with autism. To other who have additional support needs, my message is that you have a right to be included. You have just as much of a right to be included, and just as much of a right to take up space as non-special needs youth.